Welcome to AZPM News Daily, a wrap-up of all the day's news from Arizona Public Media. I'm Steve Jess, and on our podcast today, nonprofit leaders discuss who's to blame for cuts in federal programs.
The Arizona 6 are personally responsible.
The carmaker Lucid is cutting back.
About 700 people are set to lose their jobs.
And Ruben Gallego defends his campaign spending.
Gallego says his expenditures only look unusual because he's not as independently wealthy as other Congress members.
That's ahead on this Tuesday, June 23rd. Topping our news today, thousands of Arizonans continue to struggle to afford health care and groceries as the nation marks nearly a year under the Trump-championed One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Noor Hagigi reports on a roundtable discussion Tuesday morning.
Nonprofit organizers and elected officials convened in downtown Tucson to talk about the impacts of the legislation on Arizona families. They focused on cuts to food assistance and the restrictions to Medicaid that are coming in January. Stan Dorn with Unidos US says Arizona's 6 Republican members of Congress should be held accountable.
The Arizona 6 are personally responsible for the suffering that we're discussing today. Why do I say that? The bill passed by such narrow margins that if 2 of them had voted against it, it would have gone down to defeat.
Officials expect at least 420,000 Arizonans will lose their health care as a result. Noor Hagigi, AZPM News.
The National Weather Service has extended an extreme heat warning for much of the Tucson area. Temperatures in some places may reach 111 degrees before we reach the end of Thursday. This includes parts of Pinal County, the Tucson metro area, the Upper Gila River Valley, and the San Pedro River Valley north of Benson. Take extra precautions if you work or spend time outside. The Pocket Fire burning north of Sedona reached 341 acres Monday night, and as of Tuesday is still 0% contained. The Coconino County Sheriff's Office gave Oak Creek residents the okay to return home this weekend, 4 days after being evacuated. A video shared by the Coconino National Forest shows a large helicopter dumping water into burning steep slopes. Fire spokesperson Dick Fleischman says the aircraft are an important tool for keeping the fire in check when crews can't access it from the ground. He says crews are burning the forest on the fire's western side to get ahead of winds expected later this week. Hundreds of electric vehicle factory workers in Arizona face layoffs. From Phoenix, Matthew Casey tells us more.
Lucid Motors is headquartered in California, has a factory in Casa Grande, and its stock is traded on NASDAQ. Lucid filed a warning this week with Arizona officials that about 700 people are set to lose their jobs. The EV maker also announced via the SEC an 18% cut in U.S. workforce as part of a plan toward profitability that's expected to save about $158 million per year. Among those exiting is the chief operating officer, whose job was eliminated, but he gets to keep a company vehicle. Matthew Casey, Phoenix.
A bipartisan group in Congress is trying to block what it calls backroom deals to sell public lands. The Public Lands Integrity Act would classify public land sales as erroneous under special rules for budget reconciliation bills, making them ineligible to pass with a simple majority vote. It would prevent plans like the one from Utah Senator Mike Lee last year, who proposed selling 2 to 3 million acres of land as part of a reconciliation package. Arizona Representative Juan Ciscomani is one of 2 Republican co-sponsors of the Public Lands Integrity Act. To him, reconciliation is the wrong process for this. Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego has used campaign funds to pay for family trips, Super Bowl tickets, and child care, as first reported by Politico. Cameron Sanchez has more details on that.
The Federal Election Commission stipulates that lawmakers can't spend campaign money on personal uses unless the expenses are related to campaigning. In a statement, Gallego says his expenditures only look unusual because he's not as independently wealthy as other Congress members who aren't forced to use their campaign funds to cover the costs of things like childcare. He says he's operating within the FEC's rules. It's not unique for members of Congress to stretch the use of campaign donations on trips, expensive meals, and more, but many choose to pay out of their own pocket for entertainment and events like the Super Bowl. Cameron Sanchez, Phoenix.
Tucson's skateboarding community is celebrating a major milestone as work begins on a long-awaited new skate park. Thatcher Warwick-Hess tells us more.
The new Cushing Street Skate Park will be officially recognized at a groundbreaking celebration next week. The project was spearheaded by local skaters and community advocates, including artist Caleb Gutierrez and Ward 1 councilmember Lane Santa Cruz, and has been years in the making. The skate park carries a price tag of about $2.6 million. Roughly half of that funding came through the city's framework and capital improvement plans. Sierra Boyer with the Tucson Parks and Recreation says the June 30th event will be a symbolic groundbreaking since construction began earlier this month. The celebration starts at 6 p.m. on June 30th beneath the underpass on the south side of Interstate 10, away from the active construction area. I'm Thatcher Warwick-Hess, AZPM News.
And now you're caught up on the stories we've covered today at Arizona Public Media. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to AZPM News Daily wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Steve Jess, and we'll be back tomorrow.